Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are interrupting our regular programming today because we have a breaking, monumental, and absolutely thrilling piece of news that has just sent shockwaves through the international tennis community and is a massive, historic victory for the Philippines. If you are a fan of the Women's Tennis Association Tour, and if you've been closely following the breathtaking rise of one of the sport's most promising and electrifying young stars, you're going to want to hear every single detail of this. It is officially confirmed, signed, sealed, and delivered. Alexandra Eala, the 21-year-old sensation who has been taking the tennis world by storm, will not, I repeat, she will absolutely not, have to battle her way through the treacherous and grueling qualifying rounds of the upcoming Berlin Ladies Open. Instead, the tournament organizers have made the spectacular executive decision to award her a coveted wildcard entry, catapulting her straight into the main draw of this ultra-competitive, wildly prestigious WTA 500 event. This is the kind of news that changes the entire trajectory of a player's season. This is the kind of announcement that validates months of sweat, tears, and relentless grinding on the professional tour. To put it simply, this is huge. Let's take a moment to truly unpack the absolute magnitude of this development. In the world of professional tennis, the difference between having played the qualifiers and getting a direct ticket into the main draw is like night and day. The qualifying rounds are often described by professional players as a brutal, unforgiving battlefield. You are out there on the outer courts, without the massive crowds, often playing multiple high-stakes matches on consecutive days against hungry, desperate opponents who are fighting for their professional lives, their ranking points, and their prize money. The physical toll is immense. The mental taxation is extraordinary. By the time a player survives the qualifiers and actually reaches the first round of the main draw, their legs are often heavy, their energy reserves are completely depleted, and they are staring down the barrel of a match against a top-tier, well-rested seated player. It is a grueling mountain to climb. But for Alex Eala, that mountain has just been leveled. By securing this wild card, she bypasses the anxiety, the physical wear and tear, and the unpredictability of qualifiers altogether. She gets the golden ticket. She gets precious days of rest, recovery, and highly focused, targeted practice on the pristine grass courts of Berlin. She gets to walk into the first round of the tournament with fresh legs, a clear mind, and an absolute fire burning inside her to prove that she belongs precisely where she has been placed, among the absolute elite of women's tennis. This wild card is not just a free pass. It is a profound statement of respect from the global tennis establishment. Tournament directors do not just hand out main draw wild cards for a WTA 500 event to just anybody. These wild cards are incredibly valuable assets. They are reserved for players who possess undeniable star power, players who have proven they can pull in massive crowds, generate global engagement, and most importantly, deliver high-quality, breathtaking tennis on the court. By awarding this wild card to Alex Eala, the organizers of the Berlin Ladies Open are telling the world that they see her value. They are acknowledging her exploding global profile, her massive, passionate fan base in the Philippines and beyond, and the sheer, undeniable quality of her recent performances on the grass. They looked at the entry list, they looked at her career trajectory, and they made the executive decision that the Berlin main draw simply needed Alexandra Eala. Let's think about the context of this specific moment in time. We are deep into the month of June in the year 2026. The tennis calendar is currently in the midst of its most frantic, prestigious, and historically significant stretch, the grass court season. Grass is a surface that is notoriously difficult to master. It requires a completely different skill set compared to the slow, high-bouncing clay or the predictable, gritty hard courts. On grass, the ball skids, it stays low, the rallies are much shorter, and the margins for error are microscopically thin. You have to have incredible footwork. You need to bend your knees lower than ever. You need razor-sharp reflexes, and you must possess the ability to strike with aggressive precision. Many players spend their entire careers struggling to find their footing on grass. Yet, Alex Eala has transformed this challenging surface into her own personal playground. She has proven, over the last few weeks, that her game is tailor-made for the lawns. This is a young woman who recently captured her second WTA 125 title on the lush courts of the Birmingham Classic, a monumental achievement that sent a loud and clear message to the rest of the tour. She proved she can navigate the slick conditions, serve with venom, and unleash her ground strokes with devastating effect. That victory in Birmingham was not a fluke. It was a coronation of her hard work and her tactical evolution. And while she did face a tough setback just a few days ago at the Queen's Club Championships in London, falling to her close friend and formidable rival Ivajovic in straight sets, that loss does not diminish the incredible momentum she has built. If anything, it served as a crucial learning experience, a moment to recalibrate, and perhaps a blessing in disguise that affords her a bit more recovery time before the incredibly demanding schedule ahead in Germany. Receiving this main draw wildcard into Berlin is the perfect antidote to that recent loss. It washes away the disappointment and replaces it with pure, unadulterated opportunity. The Berlin Ladies Open is not just another stop on the tour. It is a premier event, a crucial battleground where the best players in the world converge to fine-tune their weapons before the grandest stage of them all, the Wimbledon Championships. Berlin has a rich history of showcasing the absolute pinnacle of the sport. The atmosphere is electric. The fans are incredibly knowledgeable, and the pressure is palpable. To be granted direct entry into this environment is a testament to how far Alexandra Eala has come since her days as a junior prodigy. She is no longer just a prospect with potential. She is a 21-year-old powerhouse who is actively dismantling the old guard and carving out her own legacy on the WTA Tour. When we talk about the significance of avoiding the qualifiers, we also absolutely have to talk about the psychological edge it provides. Tennis is a game won and lost in the mind just as much as it is on the court. Imagine the sheer relief she must have felt upon receiving the news. The anxiety of having to fight through a draw of desperate challengers evaporates instantly. Instead, she and her coaching team can immediately shift their focus to scouting her potential main draw opponents, refining her serve and volley tactics, and ensuring her body is in peak physical condition. This extra time is a luxury on the relentless tennis tour. It means extra hours with a physiotherapist, extra time to acclimate to the specific bounce and speed of the Berlin grass, and the mental space to visualize success on the main stages. Furthermore, this wild card is a massive nod to the Philippines. The country has rallied behind Alexandra Eala with a fervor and passion that is virtually unmatched in the sport today. Her matches are incredibly significant events back home, uniting millions of fans who wake up in the middle of the night or pause their busy days just to watch her swing a racket. The tournament directors in Berlin are undoubtedly aware of this massive digital footprint. They know that when Alexandra Eala plays, the world watches. She brings an entire nation with her every time she steps onto the court. This wild card is a reward for that incredible fan support just as much as it is for her on-court brilliance. It is a beautiful, symbiotic relationship between an athlete who leaves everything on the court and a fan base that gives her their unconditional backing. The hook here, the real narrative that makes this announcement so incredibly intoxicating, is what it sets up. We are looking at a direct collision course between a rising superstar from Southeast Asia and the absolute titans of the women's game. This isn't a minor tournament where she can ease her way into the latter stages. The Berlin Ladies Open is stacked. The field is essentially a grand slam in miniature. It is a shark tank. And by bypassing qualifiers, Alexandra Eala is being dropped right into the deep end, right alongside the apex predators of the WTA. This is where she belongs. And this is exactly where we will see what she is made of. The stage is set for an absolute blockbuster week of tennis. And that is why this news is the most exciting development we could have hoped for at this juncture of the season. It is a brilliant, strategic, and profoundly impactful turn of events that sets the table for what could be a career-defining tournament for the Filipina star. Now, having established the monumental nature of this wildcard entry, let us transition into a deep dive analysis of what this actually means on a practical, tactical, and statistical level. Let's peel back the layers of the Berlin Ladies Open, examine the brutal competitive landscape, analyze Alexandra Eala's current form on the grass, and look deeply into the massive, high-stakes ranking math that is currently dominating the thoughts of her entire team. This is where the story gets incredibly fascinating, because the implications of her performance in Berlin stretch far beyond the borders of Germany. They point directly toward the hallowed grounds of the All-England Club and the Wimbledon Championships. First, let's examine the sheer density of talent that awaits Alexandra Eala in the Berlin main draw. When I said earlier that this tournament is a shark tank, I was not exaggerating in the slightest. According to the official entry list, This WTA 500 event features an absolutely astonishing 9 out of the top 10 players in the world. Let that sink in for a moment. With the sole exception of the world number 1, Iga Swiatek, who has opted to rest her body after her grueling clay court campaign, every single elite player on the planet has descended upon Berlin. We are talking about the sheer, unadulterated power of world number 2 Aryna Sabalenka, whose aggressive baseline game and booming serve make her an absolute terror on the fast grass. We are talking about Elena Rybakina, a former Wimbledon champion whose devastating first serve and ice-cold demeanor are completely tailor-made for this exact surface. We have the incredible athleticism and tactical brilliance of the American superstar Coco Gauff. And let's not forget the newly crowned French Open champion, the sensational teenager Mira Andreeva, who is riding an unimaginable wave of confidence and momentum right now. Alongside them are Grand Slam champions like Emma Raducanu and top-tier competitors who have spent their entire lives perfecting their craft. This is the gauntlet that Alex Eala is walking into. By skipping the qualifiers, she avoids the lower-ranked grinders, but she is immediately placed into a draw where there are absolutely no easy matches. Any opponent she draws in the first round is going to be a battle-tested warrior. But here's the crucial analytical point. Alex Eala is not just showing up to make up the numbers. She is not a tourist in Berlin. She has earned her place at this table, and her statistics on grass back up her pedigree. Despite being only 21 years old and in just her third full season competing regularly on the WTA Tour, her numbers on the lawns are remarkably impressive. Let's look at the hard data. Eala currently holds a fantastic 21 and 9 win-loss record on grass in her career. That is a staggering 70% winning percentage. In professional tennis, maintaining a 70% win rate on any surface is elite territory. Doing it on grass, the most volatile and unforgiving surface of them all, is incredibly telling. It shows that her game possesses the intrinsic mechanical qualities necessary for success on this specific terrain. Eala spent her formative years honing her craft at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain, traditionally a bastion of clay court excellence. Yet, she has adapted her game brilliantly to the faster courts. Her forehand, which naturally possesses heavy topspin, has been flattened out just enough to skid aggressively through the grass. Her movement, characterized by explosive speed and incredible lateral agility, allows her to get low to the ground and dig out those tricky, low-bouncing slices that veteran players use to dismantle younger opponents. And crucial to her recent success has been her willingness to step inside the baseline, take the ball early, and move forward to the net. You cannot win consistently on grass by playing passive, defensive tennis from 10 feet behind the baseline. You have to take the racket out of your opponent's hands. And Eala has been doing exactly that. Let's also properly contextualize her recent form. Yes, she suffered a straight sets defeat to Iva Jovic at the Queen's Club Championships just a few days ago, losing 2-6, 2-6 in a round of 16. On paper, to a casual observer, that looks like a harsh reality check. But in the grand scheme of a long, grueling season, it was perhaps exactly what her body and mind needed. Eala was coming off an incredible, exhausting high, having won 6 consecutive matches to capture the Birmingham Classic title. The physical and emotional hangover of winning a championship is a very real, documented phenomenon in tennis. It takes an incredible toll on the central nervous system to push yourself through a tournament and hoist a trophy on a Sunday, going straight into another high-level event at Queen's the very next week, playing against a very talented friend who knows her game inside and out, was a massive challenge. Jovic played brilliantly, managing the crucial points with veteran poise despite being just 18 herself. That loss gave Eala an opportunity to hit the reset button. Instead of burning herself out in London, she got to pack her bags early, travel to Germany, and begin acclimating to the Berlin environment with zero pressure. With the wild card secured, she has the luxury of pacing her practice sessions, resting her body, and intensely studying the games of the top 10 players she might face. Now, we must delve into the most critical element of this deep dive, the mathematics of the WTA rankings and the massive, looming shadow of Wimbledon. Everything Alex Eala is doing right now is meticulously calculated to optimize her position for the 3rd Grand Slam of the year. Currently, Eala is sitting around number 33 in the live WTA rankings. Why does this specific number matter so deeply? Because at Grand Slam tournaments, there are exactly 32 seeded players in the main draw. Being seeded at Wimbledon is the ultimate golden ticket. If you are seeded, you are mathematically guaranteed not to face another top 32 player in the first 2 rounds of the tournament. This protection is completely invaluable. It drastically increases your chances of surviving the chaotic opening week of a major and making a deep run into the second week where the big money, the massive ranking points, and the global superstardom truly reside. If you are unseeded, you could draw the world number 1 or 2 in the very first round. You could face Sabalenka or Rybakina on day 1 on center court, and your tournament could be over before it even begins. For Alex Eala, the math is incredibly stressful but absolutely thrilling. With the unfortunate injury and subsequent withdrawal of world number 30, Haley Baptiste, Eala is essentially occupying a virtual top 32 spot right now. She is on the absolute precipice of securing a historic Wimbledon seeding. However, there's a massive catch, and this is where the Berlin Ladies Open becomes the most important tournament of her year so far. Right at the seeding cutoff point for Wimbledon, which happens on June 22nd, right after Berlin concludes, Eala is set to lose a massive 163 ranking points. These are the points she earned from her phenomenal, unforgettable run to the final of the Eastbourne Open exactly 1 year ago, in 2025. In the ruthless accounting system of the WTA, you have to defend your points from the previous year, or they drop off your total entirely. To maintain those 163 points and securely lock down her top 32 ranking for the Wimbledon draw, Eala must perform exceptionally well in Berlin. She essentially needs to match that runner-up finish to guarantee her safety. This is an immense amount of pressure to place on a 21-year-old's shoulders. Every single match she plays in Berlin is not just about the prize money or the prestige of lifting the trophy. It is a desperate mathematical fight for ranking survival. If she wins her opening matches, she stabilizes her ranking. If she loses early, those points will vanish into thin air. She will drop out of the top 32, and she will be completely vulnerable to the ruthless luck of the draw at the All England Club. This is a hidden drama of professional tennis that the casual fan often misses. It is a high-stakes game of mathematical chess played out at 100 miles an hour. Eala's team knows exactly what is on the line, and this is exactly why the wild card into the main draw is a massive, game-changing assist in this mathematical battle. If she had to play the qualifiers, she wouldn't earn significant ranking points unless she won multiple grueling matches just to get into the first round. By starting directly in the main draw, a single victory over a high-ranked opponent yields a massive haul of points. The WTA 500 structure heavily rewards main draw success. Eala is staring at an opportunity to not just defend her points, but to potentially catapult herself even higher up the rankings, cementing her status as one of the elite players in the world. Furthermore, her schedule absolutely does not stop after Berlin. The physical demands of her calendar are staggering. After the Berlin Ladies Open concludes on June 21st, she is scheduled to remain in Germany to compete in the Bad Homburg Open from June 20th to the 27th. And in a storyline that feels almost like a scripted Hollywood sports movie, she is slated to team up with none other than the legendary 10-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams in the doubles tournament. Playing alongside Venus Williams on a grass court is the absolute equivalent of taking a masterclass from the greatest professor in the world. Venus is a 5-time Wimbledon singles champion. Her knowledge of grass court positioning, serving mechanics, and unshakable mental fortitude is unparalleled in the modern history of the sport. For Alex Eala, sharing the same side of the net with an icon of that magnitude is going to be a transformative experience. The tactical insights, the subtle pieces of advice whispered between points, and simply observing the aura of a true champion up close will be invaluable assets as Eala packs her bags for Wimbledon. The strategy currently being employed by Eala and her team is bold, it is aggressive, and it is undeniably ambitious. They are not shying away from the brightest lights. They are not playing smaller, lower-tier tournaments just to farm easy ranking points. They are throwing her straight into the deepest, most dangerous waters imaginable: Birmingham, Queen's Club, Berlin, Bad Homburg, and finally Wimbledon. This is the schedule of a champion. This is a massive statement of intent. They genuinely believe she has the game, the physical endurance, and the mental resilience to withstand this gauntlet. When you synthesize all of this deep analytical information, the 70% career grass court win rate, the incredible, undeniable momentum from the Birmingham title, the massive strategic rest gained from skipping the Berlin qualifiers, the intense, suffocating mathematical pressure of the Wimbledon seeding cutoff, and the upcoming grass court masterclass with Venus Williams, you quickly realize that we are witnessing a critical, career-defining inflection point in the life of Alexandra Eala. She is no longer just a promising future of Philippine tennis. She is the undisputed, brilliant present. She is carrying the heavy weight of a nation's expectations, not as a paralyzing burden, but as a spectacular driving force. The Berlin Ladies Open is going to be the ultimate proving ground. The grass is freshly cut. The lines are perfectly painted. The greatest players in the world are waiting in the locker room, and Alex Eala has just been handed the golden ticket right into the center of the arena. As we reach the conclusion of this extensive analysis, it is time to take a step back, take a deep breath, and look at the much broader picture. We need to process the emotional, cultural, and historical weight of what is currently unfolding in front of our eyes on the grass courts of Europe. What Alexandra Eala is accomplishing right now, at the age of 21, in the hyper-competitive ecosystem of the Women's Tennis Association in the year 2026, goes far beyond the boundaries of backhands, forehands, aces, and ranking points. We are literally watching the rewriting of history for Southeast Asian sports. We are witnessing the beautiful maturation of a prodigy who is refusing to settle for anything less than absolute, undisputed greatness. This wild-card entry into the main draw of the Berlin Ladies Open is not merely a logistical schedule update. It is a profound, undeniable symbol of her arrival on the grandest stage the sport has to offer. Let's really think about what it takes for a human being to get to this specific moment. The life of a professional tennis player looks incredibly glamorous on your television screen. You see the pristine white outfits, the beautifully manicured lawns, the roaring, sophisticated crowds, and the glorious lifting of silver trophies. But behind that polished television broadcast is a gritty reality characterized by grueling isolation, severe physical exhaustion, and a relentless psychological battle that never truly ends. For a player from the Philippines, a country without a deep historical, systemic infrastructure for churning out Grand Slam tennis champions, the journey is exponentially harder. Eala had to leave her home, her family, and her comfort zone at an incredibly young age to move halfway across the world to Spain. She had to train day in and day out under the blistering sun, hitting thousands upon thousands of tennis balls until her hands literally blistered, all while chasing a dream that very few people in the world ever realize. She had to navigate the immense, suffocating pressure of being labeled a prodigy, of having an entire nation track her every single junior tournament result, analyzing her every ranking fluctuation. That exact kind of pressure has broken countless talented athletes before her. But Alex Eala did not break. She absorbed it. She used it as premium fuel. She transitioned from the junior ranks to the professional circuit with a level of maturity, grace, and poise that is simply staggering to witness. And now, here we are. It is June 2026. She is a 21-year-old phenom standing proudly shoulder to shoulder with the absolute giant of the game. When she walks onto the court in Berlin, she will not be intimidated by the presence of Aryna Sabalenka. She will not back down from Coco Gauff or Elena Rybakina. Why? Because she has put in the agonizing work in the shadows. She has bled on the practice courts. She has earned her stripes by winning significant titles like the Birmingham Classic. That 70% win rate on grass is not a statistic that was handed to her as a gift. It is a statistic she violently and brilliantly seized through sheer willpower and spectacular tactical execution. When the tournament organizers in Germany decided to bypass the qualifiers and hand her that wild card, they weren't doing her a charitable favor. They were acknowledging an undeniable, objective reality. The Berlin Ladies Open is simply a better, more exciting, and vastly more competitive tournament with Alexandra Eala in the main draw. The upcoming weeks are going to be an absolute roller coaster of emotions. The stakes have literally never been higher for her young career. The complicated math surrounding her Wimbledon seeding, that terrifying, looming defense of 163 points, is going to hang over every single point she plays in Germany. Every break point she tries to convert. Every double fault she hits. Every grueling baseline rally will carry the immense, undeniable weight of her Grand Slam destiny. But let me tell you, this is exactly what elite sports are all about. It is about stepping into the blazing crucible when the pressure is at its absolute peak, when the whole world is watching, and finding out exactly what kind of fire burns inside of your chest. If there is one thing we have learned about Alex Eala over these past few incredible years, it is that she possesses the fierce heart of a lion. She does not shy away from the big, terrifying moments. She steps into them. She embraces the chaos. Think about the beautiful narrative arc that is forming right here. She shakes off a tough, emotional loss to a good friend in London. She travels to Berlin, skipping the physical exhaustion of the qualifiers, to face a draw absolutely filled to the brim with top 10 titans. She fights for her Wimbledon seeding in a high-stakes, breathless game of ranking mathematics. Then, regardless of what happens in the singles draw in Berlin, she travels to Bad Homburg to share a doubles court with Venus Williams, a living, breathing legend of the sport, soaking in decades of grass court mastery and championship DNA. And finally, after all of that, all roads lead to London. All roads lead to the hallowed, sacred grounds of Wimbledon, the most prestigious, historic tennis tournament on planet Earth. This isn't just a regular sports schedule. This is an epic hero's journey playing out in real time right before our eyes. For the fans watching at home, for the millions of passionate Filipinos who will be glued to their screens, losing sleep just to catch a glimpse of her playing. This is a golden era. You are watching a genuine pioneer. Every victory she secures, every barrier she violently breaks down, paves a golden way for the next generation of athletes who will look at her and finally realize that a kid from the Philippines can absolutely conquer the global stage of tennis. She is actively redefining what is possible. And for those of us who simply love the magnificent sport of tennis, she is an absolute, undeniable joy to watch. Her dynamic, aggressive game, her relentless fighting spirit, and her undeniable magnetic charisma make her one of the most compelling, must-watch figures on the entire WTA Tour right now. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this final thought. The wild card into Berlin main draw is a massive, celebrated victory, but it is only the beginning of this particular, crucial chapter. The real, agonizing test starts when the umpire calls time and the first serve is aggressively struck. The field is completely stacked. The opponents are ruthless and unforgiving. The math is brutal, but Alex Eala is ready. She has the powerful weapons. She has the elite mindset, and she has the roaring support of an entire nation behind her. We will be meticulously following every single moment of this incredible journey right here on the channel. We will break down her matches. We will analyze her brilliant tactics, and we will keep you completely updated on the live, shifting ranking permutations as she fiercely fights for that historic Wimbledon seed. This is, without a doubt, the most exciting time of the tennis year, and the beautiful, inspiring story of Alexandra Eala is at the very glowing center of it all. If you enjoyed this incredibly detailed breakdown and deep dive into the massive breaking news of Alex Eala's main draw wildcard entry into the Berlin Ladies Open, please make sure you absolutely smash that subscribe button right now. Do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you never miss a single update, because the news, the results, and the drama are going to be coming fast and furious over these next few weeks. I desperately want to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. How far do you genuinely think Alex Eala can go in the Berlin Ladies Open against this stacked field? Do you believe she can successfully defend those crucial points and securely lock in her top 32 seeding for Wimbledon? And how incredibly excited are you to see her share a court and team up with the absolute legend Venus Williams in doubles at the Bad Homburg Open? Drop your boldest predictions, share your incredible passion, and let's get a massive, engaging discussion going in the comments right now. Your continued support means the absolute world to this channel, and it allows us to continue to bring you these incredibly comprehensive, long-form, documentary-style analyses of the brilliant sport we all deeply love. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for your valuable time. And until the next massive breaking news update, keep your eyes firmly on the courts, keep supporting our incredible, hard-working athletes, and take care, everyone. We will see you next time.